The sell my son and spoken. Opportunity on 1000 is that he has an AFC. Loan you have enough data and the advent of times in the mayor's apple of what online and offlinoses 7 eyes and honestly and strengthen the same as I'm sure I think it's all hunt for. It because I think we talked about her humor when she's not around. And then here we are, a state will, and you not backing me as if I'm in a neatly lions is ending what confusing to Mace that I feel lively tiptoe around more infant. Monday in Townend, I think starring Sharon Eisen in a high-low not yield any hand down to heavy, gave the animal sciences how they remind him of his sons of half 90 different. Parcells said something in and outside your rank rise above a black. And then it got into the conversation, and would have also been dumped in at a different lot of guys out resounding and ink, all just as if I'm asking you. Anything and family announcement in the salads are now, I wish you a sense of naked. Then I'm not the only one asking all the questions that had 18/10 at ELAC Cowlings, the gap from a selling it in a bearing on day. I just don't want that person I'm tired on AIDS and know you and your eye on, and I'm sorry they feel that way and William but share time the kitchen. And 99 a line, it is just the thing area of the narrative of a she not a he's not as a and is. Now means users now, but can we talk about a guy we not only at list was of the applet we don't see it that I was an understanding and dealing with jury which is all I won NIL was late. And I know that the oven and came to the Romans and the outlaw guys Alamos and 20,000 dealses a guy's outlaw's house and the oath and then at the table sign isn't saying anything that has enlivened so fascinating to standing in the downtown here by myself the act now we hear. It sounded 9 using he at CSPS and hangs a Nackwill, we are compartmentalized partner Wanswin Leon. What would it not been on his last at? The pond was we all did that you do it again, will now undermine the cell, and we are just that has drawn a reality centers. And we know we have, to expose one Andarts, have from death item when I heard you say just now I understand your point of view I think the tables were turned. And it was taught this group would not let Lifeline. It does need an excellent point out O Patel. We're where we're at a Manhattan, as an aspect of it cause of death. And have any combat youth, and lack only and how can you not line drawn aliens and in the vassal? Are not have a blind eye to it, that hurry and the Netherlands, and selling his upward thought. That I asked if in the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 14, Episode 16, Sutton Stracke finds herself in the midst of a tense conversation, offering her defense of her close friend, Kyle Richards, after the controversy surrounding Kyle's relationship with Morgan Wade continues to capture the attention of viewers and castmates alike. Sutton, always the voice of reason in the group, takes a stand for Kyle, insisting that the way Kyle is handling her situation is both understandable and relatable. The ongoing narrative surrounding Kyle's relationship with country singer Morgan Wade has been a topic of heavy speculation throughout the season. After rumors swirled regarding the nature of their relationship, whether it was romantic, platonic, or something in between, Kyle had remained tight-lipped about the matter. For many, her silence only fueled more gossip, leading to questions about what she was hiding or whether there was something going on behind closed doors that she didn't want the world to know. Despite the pressure to disclose every detail of her life, Kyle had been reluctant to open up, especially with her castmates. Some of her friends, including Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane, had openly questioned her hesitancy to address the situation. However, it was Sutton who had always had a soft spot for Kyle, who came to her defense in a powerful way during an emotionally charged conversation that unfolded during a gathering at Kyle's home. The episode opens with the ladies of the group enjoying a quiet evening together, and the conversation soon shifts to Kyle's reluctance to discuss her connection with Morgan. As the conversation intensifies, Sutton becomes noticeably more protective of her friend. She turns to the group and, with a calm, yet firm, tone, begins to explain her perspective on the situation. "I think we need to understand that Kyle is in a very difficult spot right now," Sutton says, looking around at the group, trying to make her point. "We all compartmentalize in our own way. It's human nature." Her words strike a chord with the women, and the atmosphere in the room shifts slightly as Sutton's defense of Kyle begins to resonate. Sutton's defense is rooted in her own understanding of how people cope with personal matters. She explains that Kyle, who has spent years under the public eye and dealing with the scrutiny of the media, is simply trying to protect herself and her family from further invasion. Sutton, who has also had her fair share of public moments on the show, knows firsthand how overwhelming it can be when your personal life is constantly dissected by both the public and the people you hold dear. Sutton's comment about compartmentalizing is a key theme of the episode, as it speaks to the larger struggle of balancing one's private and public life. She continues, "There are parts of our lives that we choose not to share because it's personal. Kyle's not ready to talk about Morgan, and that's okay. We don't always have to have all the answers. Sometimes the truth isn't ready to come out yet." The idea of compartmentalizing is something Sutton believes everyone does in their own way, whether it's in their relationships, career, or even with their emotions. She argues that it is a coping mechanism that allows people to protect themselves in times of emotional vulnerability. In Kyle's case, she may not be ready to disclose everything about her relationship with Morgan because she's still figuring things out herself. "Think about it," Sutton continues, her voice softer but filled with conviction. "When you're under so much pressure, sometimes you need to keep things close to the chest. You need space to breathe, to think, and to process. Kyle is no different. She's allowed that space." Sutton's words seem to have an effect on the group, particularly on the usually outspoken Lisa Rinna, who has been at the forefront of the conversation about Kyle's silence. Lisa, while still curious about the situation, begins to soften and acknowledge that Sutton may be right about Kyle's need for privacy. As the conversation unfolds, the group begins to realize just how complex Kyle's situation really is. On one hand, she's dealing with her ongoing marriage to Mauricio Umansky, a man with whom she's shared decades of life and experience. On the other hand, there's her newfound connection with Morgan Wade, which, based on rumors and her own behavior, suggests that there's something deeper than friendship between them. The conflict of these two worlds, her commitment to Mauricio and her growing bond with Morgan, has placed Kyle in an incredibly difficult position. No matter what side of the situation Kyle chooses, it seems she will face judgment from some corner of her world. Sutton acknowledges this complexity as well, noting that Kyle may not be ready to address the situation because of the emotional toll it could take on her and her family. She's been through a lot in the last year. The public scrutiny, the stress, it's hard, Sutton says. Sometimes it's easier to keep things to yourself, even if it means people think you're hiding something. In many ways, Sutton's perspective offers insight into the broader human condition. It reflects the difficulty of balancing personal truths with public personas, especially when you're a reality TV star whose life is often under constant scrutiny. Sutton emphasizes that the pressure to be open about everything is not always healthy or necessary. "We don't have to spill everything out," Sutton concludes. "We're allowed to have some things that are ours." While many of the women in the group, particularly Erica and Lisa, had previously pushed Kyle to address the rumors surrounding her relationship with Morgan, Sutton remains steadfast in her defense of her friend. "Kyle is entitled to keep things private," she declares. "We've all had moments where we don't want to share. That's our right." Sutton's defense of Kyle is more than just a show of loyalty. It's a testament to the strength of their friendship. Throughout the seasons, Sutton and Kyle's relationship has had its ups and downs, but in this moment, Sutton shows that she truly understands Kyle's struggles. It's clear that for Sutton, friendship means not just standing by someone when it's convenient, but also supporting them during the most challenging times, when they might feel the most exposed. As the discussion continues, it becomes evident that the group, while still curious about Kyle's relationship with Morgan, begins to understand that not every detail needs to be shared with the public. There's a mutual respect that develops among the women, as they realize that privacy is a luxury that everyone deserves, regardless of their public status. Beyond the immediate situation surrounding Kyle, Sutton's comments offer a broader commentary on how society tends to value transparency and openness, sometimes to an unhealthy degree. In a world that constantly demands answers, Sutton's reminder that we all need to compartmentalize certain aspects of our lives is both refreshing and necessary. Her ability to articulate this in such a calm and reasonable manner allows for a more empathetic understanding of Kyle's situation. As the episode draws to a close, the group seems to come to a tentative understanding of each other's perspectives. Sutton's defense of Kyle opens a door for more honest conversations in the future, and the women are left contemplating the idea that sometimes silence is not an indication of guilt, but rather a choice for self-preservation. It's a reminder that each of them, regardless of their fame or status, deserves the space to navigate their emotions and relationships in their own time and on their own terms. As The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills continues to unfold, it remains to be seen how Kyle will eventually address her connection with Morgan. However, thanks to Sutton's defense of her, it's clear that the women are starting to see things from a different perspective. They're learning that there is power in discretion, and sometimes keeping things private is the most empowering choice of all. This pivotal moment on the show is a perfect example of how Sutton Stracke's role in the group has evolved. From a newcomer to an empathetic and wise friend, Sutton's ability to speak up and advocate for others highlights her growth as a cast member and as a person. Through her unwavering support for Kyle, Sutton has not only solidified her place in the group, but also reminded the viewers of the importance of compassion, understanding, and, above all, the value of privacy.